Welcome to Ask the Mayor, the program that comes to you every Thursday morning on KWBE, giving you a chance to learn a little bit about what's happening in the city of Beatrice and also giving you the chance to call in with questions. If you have a question for the mayor this morning, feel free to call us and we'll pass it along during the program. We welcome in Beatrice Mayor Bob Morgan. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Dave, good morning. What a beautiful morning for July 17th.
No kidding. You know,
Man.
I'm looking at this weather forecast. It's going to get really hot.
Yes.
It's going to get really hot here, and so we'll take today.
Well, and you know, there's an absolutely good reason why it's going to get really hot next week.
It's fair time.
It's Fair Week. Yeah. Fair Week is either going to be rain or it's going to be hot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it works across across the whole state. I can remember back when I was in Aurora, I was on they call it the Historical Society, but it actually was the Ag, the people that put on the Ag Fair. And that's what every year it was either miserably muddy, trying to get in and out, or it was just hotter than all get out.
Could never find that perfect day, huh?
So hats off to all the volunteers that are putting on the fair, because in the background there's a whole lot of stuff that goes on to make the fair successful, anywhere from the Ag Society to all the volunteers to even the 4-H and the vendors. It's a production that really takes a lot of time. And
as you say, it takes a village to make it happen.
Man, it does. I mean, a fair's not the easiest thing. I mean, from contracting for all the shows, the rides, the carnivals, unless you've kind of been on that inside track, you just don't understand how much effort it takes, and you're also trying to stay within a budget.
Yep. I know we had Lisa and Don from the Fair Board on the other day, and Lisa was talking about how we have to run it like a business.
Yep.
So you got to watch those dollars and cents, to make it work. So
I just want to say I appreciate all that goes into the Gage County Fair and all the volunteers.
And of course, we'll have folks coming into the fair to from out of town to visit and be a part of it. So we are getting ready for a little extra company next week, then, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Even if it is going to be 100 degrees,
well,
we welcome in.
I would guess the ice will sell quick and the ice cream will sell off the shelves or off the freezers.
There you go. Got a favorite fair food, do you?
Not really.
Not really? No funnel cake? Cotton candy?
It's really, really strange, but in our household, we eat very little sugar.
Okay.
And we're not dessert eaters, so, I make up for it with potato chips.
There you go. Okay. That'll work, too. That'll be all right. Yes, the Gage County Fair and Expo next week, and it'll kick off actually Tuesday evening with the Beatrice Area Chamber of Commerce barbecue, and we hope folks can come on out that night, enjoy a little food, and just kind of get a sneak preview of all what our young kids have done.
Absolutely.
Want to give a quick shout out before we get into our program this morning, Mayor. I just want to give a quick shout out. I did this earlier this morning to our American Legion Riders, Post 27, along with the State Patrol and our Beatrice Police Department. They all were part of an escort late yesterday for the remains of Army Private Schopp, who will be buried tomorrow, have a service in Plymouth. And I know a lot of folks were out last night lining the streets, waving the American flags and just welcoming him home. That was a neat deal.
Absolutely. I think, since I've been on the city council, even through the year, our gentlemen and women who are on our police force have always been a very strong supporter of the community and supporter of these type of activities. I think about, Special Olympics, and I think about all the things that they do for our community. And when you think about it, you think, well, gee, they're maybe pulling you over for speeding or something else. But there's a whole lot more to it, to the police department. And I'm really proud of Chief Murphy and all of the officers in the police department, because they do a really good job. And they do a great job of putting things on for the community to enjoy as well.
You are right. Like you said, you mentioned the Special Olympics. They're very much involved in that. We have officers that are in the schools that are really building great relationships with the kids. They really go the extra mile, don't they?
They do. And I know this one of the events that they do, 2 or 3 times a year, has been Coffee with the Cops. That hasn't taken off maybe as well as maybe what it should. So the next time, if you really, it's really interesting to sit down and really visit with them in a little different setting. So they're great people, and they do a great job, and they keep us safe, and that's what's important.
And that is what is important. Are we fully staffed right now for the police?
Yes, we are.
So we are really good to go then here.
We are in good shape, absolutely.
I know Chief Murphy has been now in that chair. So, boy, when did he finally get taken over? Has it been over a year?
Don't think it's been quite a year yet. Okay. I'm not sure.
Should bring him in sometime for a kind of a review on his first year or whatever.
Absolutely, yeah.
Although first year as a chief, but he's been with the police force for many years.
He has. He brought a lot of good experience.
Okay. How's the dog doing? I haven't seen our canine for the police force.
Well, I'm sure pretty good.
Okay.
I haven't either, but, again, they're one of the ones that work pretty hard. And, when you think about it, it's going to be a tough week for them, too.
Yeah.
100 degrees.
Yes. Not easy.
No.
Not easy.
That has an impact on all of them, yeah.
But we do thank them for everything they do for our community.
And last night was special.
Yeah, it was special. Kind of left you speechless. Yeah, just kind of made you feel good, though.
Absolutely.
So. All right, we got some questions we're going to pass along here in a bit. First, though, I want to get kind of a couple updates here, if we could. Lincoln Street progress. How are we doing on that? What's the update? Or I think they were laying some concrete, weren't they, here this last week?
Yes. They laid a lot of concrete. Most of the roadway, I think, is pretty well getting done. I think there was some weather in there that kind of slowed a few things down, but I definitely know it will be open before school opens, and that is the first goal. And being open and done may be two different things, but as far as the road surface and the lanes, they'll be open probably in a couple of weeks. There might be some sidewalk and some of the ancillary items that need to be done, but it's going to be a nice improvement for those couple of blocks because they really needed to be done. I remember the conversation, it's budget season again, but as you think about it a year and a half ago, it's like, okay, this needs to be done. And you just have to figure out what project to do because, again, we try to balance our budget, and that was one that reached the highest priority. And it's going to be nice when it's done. I know it's a little bit of a hassle for everybody on that street that lives there. Those are things, unfortunately, are unavoidable. We'd like to be able to figure out how to do concrete without any interruptions, but that's just not possible.
Do you know if we've been getting some recent showers here, some rain lately. Has that delayed at all? Or
certainly slowed it down.
Okay.
It slowed it down. It slows everything down. I know there's a couple street projects that are going to be probably next week instead of this week because of the rains. And the rains could be from someplace else, too. So when you think about a contractor, if they're working in Grand Island, which got a bunch of rain, I think, a day or two ago, that puts them for a stop for maybe 3 days, but they're supposed to be here in those 3 days. Well, they have to finish that project before they move to the next one. So weather is one of those things that contractors have to juggle, and for us, we have to be understanding too about weather delays. Sometimes if it's not weather delays, that's a whole different conversation.
But at this moment, we are on track to having it ready, then open for school. Then.
Absolutely, yes.
All right. Speaking of projects, speaking of streets, you've been getting some compliments on some projects here.
Yes, the overlay projects. For those of you, you see a road that's done, and then all of a sudden a bunch of gravel is put on that street, and when you drive over, you fill the gravel. Well, Jason Moore and company, they went to a different product called a shale product. And first of all, it's kind of a blackish color. Second of all, it's not quite as rough as what gravel was. And third, it helps really uniformly grab that oil that gets put down and soaks it up. And so right now it looks like it's a real winner. I mean, I just got a text this morning about how great the streets look with this new shale product, and I tell you, I've had several people compliment us on that process, and I think that's the one nice thing about our department heads. In this case, it was Jason, but in others, they're always looking for new products. They're always looking for new ways to do things. And I know at the Board of Public Works, Jason said, one of the amazing differences too is with the gravel, when you went over with a sweeper to kind of smooth things out, you had a lot of gravel. With this shale product, it just kind of adheres, and then when the sweeper goes over, you don't get even quite a full sweeper. And so it's more efficient as well.
Cost-wise?
Probably about the same. Now we'll see how it holds up as we go through. They're always rating the streets and figuring out where they're at. But I think, if it holds up, this has really been a great, I'd say it's been a great feature or an enhancement as we do mill and overlays.
Had Jason or you'd seen this in other cities that used this, or?
I'm sure Jason did it through research. Jason and James, they talk a lot about streets and how to get them and to where they need to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's good.
Looking good, and it's nice to get some compliments from
absolutely.
You always like to hear those positive things, right?
So, and I think it's one of those things we'll continue to use for a while.
Okay. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the old Paddock School area. How are things working through there?
Contractor arrived, I believe, this week. The city, our city departments, the water and sewer people have been putting things in. So they're starting that project. I think, if I remember correctly, they'll be doing some work on Corral Crossing, and when they get certain parts done, they'll move over to what will be Heritage Heights, which is a Lincoln school, and then also work on the paving. So we're hoping that by November we'll have both of those housing developments, all the streets and the sanitation and the sewer and the water in.
That's pretty aggressive. Pretty busy schedule there for you.
Pretty busy schedule for the contractors and for the water department both. But we're excited to bring 40 housing building lots to the city, and we would like to make sure we get them ready to go. I think I know you have a couple of realtors that are on Mondays and Tuesdays, and the inventory is not there. I think. That we've heard that over and over and over.
Yes,
so
that seems to be a common theme right now.
It is, and has been for 2 or 3 years. Mm-hmm. And so having lots available to build in that, what we call, there's always different terms, but this is market rate. In other words, it's just the normal housing. I think it will be a great asset to the city and actually to those areas of the community.
It'll be a whole different look compared to a couple years ago when the school buildings were there.
It will.
A lot different look, for sure.
Yes, it will.
How'd they get the name? Where'd you come up with those names?
Well, Heritage Heights, which is on Lincoln Street, kind of falls back to, our heritage and the heights and the presidents and those type of names. Corral Crossing, if you think about paddock, which is a horse term, and there's a paddock is where typically I think it's where you settle the horses and those type of things. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm sure I'll get corrected, but that's okay. So we wanted to keep the horse theme there with Corral Crossing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Pretty creative. I like it.
Absolutely.
All right. We got a question. We're going to pass along here. We're going to take a short break first. We got a question for the mayor, and we'll also talk about some work that's being done out at the airport. That's all coming up on KWBE. We're back on Ask the Mayor on KWBE. Beatrice Mayor Bob Morgan with us this morning. Okay, we got a question here. What is the status of the electric vehicle charging station on 5th Street across from the police station that the city received grant funds for 4+ years ago? What's the status, and was the contractor paid but not completed? What's the latest on this?
Yes, we've had that question before. That is probably one of our bigger frustrations, even though it's a little thing. It is one of our bigger frustrations. Yes, the contractor has been paid because the issue is all software and company related and how to get our own account set up the way it is. And we have worked on this for over 4 years. And there's always this conflict between Homestead National, not the park itself, but the company is having trouble getting this thing sorted out, and it has taken a multitude of phone calls, but we've never been able to get it from completion to the software end of things. And until you get that done, there's nothing we can do other than continue to work on it. So it's there. It could be workable. It's just that we can't, because of the grants and the companies that are involved, we can't get off dead center. So it is a frustration for everyone.
That has to be frustrating.
It is.
That has to be frustrating.
It's kind of like a ongoing, for this, press 1. For that, press 2. And on and on and on. And it just continues. So we will continue to work on it. But again, it is a frustration that we will have to continue to bear until we can get it done.
Because it's been completed for about how long now?
Well, he's probably right about 4 years.
About 4 years?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay. So we just have to wait until
we can get through the quagmire we're in.
Okay. All right. We thank you for the question. Hopefully that has the question answered for our listener. We were talking about some projects. Let's talk a little bit about the airport construction. They have been doing some work at the airport these days.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's aprons, moving the fuel station, and then we had an earmark funds from Senator Fisher that we greatly appreciate that will give us a new hangar. I don't believe that's quite started yet. I think from the last, the 6 months in Washington has been a little bit tumultuous about where funds are coming from and what grants and those things are going to carry forward from one administration to the other. But we did get word that earmark is coming through, and so we're looking forward to actually putting up a new hangar, and we need it. There's not enough airport hangars in our area, and so Dennis Schmidt, our airport manager, has done a great job of working through everything and being on top of the construction. I think no fault of the airports, but maybe the contractor a little bit. They're a little bit behind, so they're going to have to do a little catch up. But anyway, it's going well. I've always said it on this radio program. It's one of our best kept secrets of one of the best economic development recruiting opportunities that we have. It says we got a really nice airport.
Talk a little bit about how just the role that the airport plays here in the success of our community, because I know a lot of industries, a lot of businesses, they use that airport quite a bit, don't they?
They do. We have people who fly in and out for instance, Exmark. I'm trying to think of the other ones that I know UPS comes in out once in a while there. But all of our large manufacturers that have a presence here, but maybe not the corporate headquarters here. And then I know there's a lot of pilots that have it on their radar screen, I think, and this is just me, first, it's easy to get in and out of. People probably don't know, but when people decide to do a stopover for fuel or whatever, we actually have, I believe it's 2 courtesy cars, so they can come to town and they can visit Beatrice. Some of those have made this a regular stop for their fuel, and we're priced pretty well. To think about it, how many times it's not so bad now, but growing up, you'd probably drive around to try to find the filling station that had 4 cents less. So there's a network out there, and we're priced pretty well. With moving the pumps right now, we're struggling a little bit being able to have a full supply, but it's busy, and we have a number of planes. And right now it's super busy because we have 2, maybe 3 aerial sprayers that work out of that in the summers. And so, you'll see a lot of people spraying the crops, and they work out of the airport, and so it'll be a busy summer.
You talk about the construction of a new hangar. Is that for individuals and businesses here in town that own a plane, or is that for folks who are making a stopover? You say that we just don't have enough hangar space.
Typically own planes to keep. Yeah. Right now they're all full, and we have room for more. Okay.
Well, I know it's always common. Every now and then you'll see planes flying around. I mean, they're coming in for a landing or taking off. So there's always, driving down 77, you always see something going on. So.
That's right. It's one of those things as a kid, I thought, gee, that would be a great career. But wow, it takes a lot of time and a lot of money.
There you go. There you be, yes. All right, before we take our last break, just a quick update on some other projects. What's the latest like on Dempsters and such?
Great question. It's one of those things that I drive by every day. Right now, I think I said a couple times ago, is we've got a company in there that's taking all of the asbestos out of the building. There's quite a lot of asbestos, with one caveat. You really can't take the asbestos out of the roof until you take the roof off. And so they're removing all the asbestos in that building, all the buildings. We put it out for bid, and when we bid those type of projects, we bid it by building and then as a sum total. And this company was a low bid at, I think, $158,000, take all the asbestos out of all the other buildings except for what's in the roof. They started in the first of this month, and I think by the end of August they're going to be done, and so all the asbestos is out. Now, the next question is, how soon is it going to come down? I know that's the question that's out there, and believe me, I'd like to knock it down tomorrow. But again, now it's a matter of trying to find the funding to knock it down, because that's probably conservatively $2 million plus project to get it down, to take everything out to either the C&D or the landfill to get rid of, and that's a pretty big bill. The funny part of it is there's always kind of a lot of grants, right? But there is not grants to demolish dilapidated properties. And so we've tried for the brownfield grant. We didn't get that. There's a few small grants for asbestos removal, but you can usually get about $10,000 a year. Well, if that bid came in at $158,000, you can do the math and figure out how long it would be to get all the asbestos out. So we bit that bullet and got that done, or getting that done. So we'll continue to, as I've said before, eat that elephant one bite at a time. And it's a priority. I know it's a priority of all the council members. It's just a matter of trying to get it done with a way that we can afford it and continue to do other projects as well.
Okay. I know when you drive by it, a person might say, wow, $2 million for that. But there is a lot of building there, isn't there? I mean, from what you see from the front, there's a lot of building back there.
Well, there is, and the funny part of it is, I saw this at the college when we took down Hoover Hall. I saw it when we took down the two buildings at the schools. In that era of building, lots of concrete, lots of steel, and lots of big timber. So, I know that the contractors did a good job on the schools, but they found those schools were really well built, and it was a challenge. And I know the three buildings we took out at the campus, it seems simple, but once they start working on it, there's all kinds of, as I say, back then concrete must have been cheap because there was a lot of it, a lot of concrete and steel. So there's a lot that goes into tearing down Dempster's in particular.
All right. Later, I know last week we did talk about working on like 5th Street and such. Still on schedule for all that to occur?
Still working on the contractor to figure out the timeline, and we'll keep moving forward there.
Okay. All right. Any other street projects at the moment, or?
No, I think we've got everybody pretty busy. So,
all right.
Yeah. And again, what you may not know, we do the 1 year and 6 year plan. So we always have a plan of where we're going to go, and we'll try to get those done each year.
Okay. We'll take a short break, come back, wrap it up with Mayor Morgan right after this. Well, we're coming up on 9 o'clock at KWBE. Just a couple of minutes left in our program of our Ask the Mayor. And we were talking earlier in the program how the Gage County Fair and Expo is coming up next week. And with that, we're talking some hot weather. Forecast talking maybe 100 on Tuesday and Wednesday, which means, it's going to get hot for us, Bob.
It does. It does. Since, we own our electric company, BPW, they will be busy monitoring. They do. They monitor the ins and the outs. And one of the little unknown facts is, a few years ago, Radiant Tech came to town. They're kind of connected to the Bitcoin industry somehow, and they use electricity. But, it's been a great partnership for us because they use what's called the excess electricity. So in a 100-degree day, when everybody's either running their air conditioner and doing those type of things, we have plenty of power for the city. They don't have quite as much power, but at night when that drops off, they get more power, and then the data center runs. And so, rest assured, we're in a great spot with electricity. The demand will be up, and we will see. We have people who watch that on an hourly basis to make sure everything's running fine.
Okay. I know Pat Feist and his gang they're ready to get us back going if something would go down,
yes.
But we'll knock on wood and hope that, everything's good then.
Absolutely. And, one of the fun facts, or I think is real interesting, because we went to that automated system, when your power goes out, they know it before you can get on the phone and call them.
Really?
Yeah. And so they're already planning.
They know immediately.
Yep, they know where it's at and where they need to go.
So do you still want residents to make a phone call and say, hey, I don't have power, or don't they need to do that then anymore?
Well, they don't need to, but I think it makes them feel better.
Okay.
And that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Mayor, we're out of time. We're at the end of our program. Always good to have you on to talk about city issues and city government, and always look forward to have you back on another program for Ask the Mayor then. So,
Dave, thank you.
You betcha. And stay cool as the hot weather moves in.
I'm going to enjoy today.
Okay. I think we all will. We're all taking advantage of it. This is KWBE Beatrice.